Oh, that's us. I don't know why I'm always so surprised every time. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Two Psychic Moms here. It is Tuesday, November 9th, and welcome. I'm here with my wonderful channeling buddy and friend, Tammy Langowski of Tammy's Intuitive Services, and I'm Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic. And yeah, we're here for your channeling pleasure.
I like that. I like that.
I don't know who's talking today. I got to tell you. So the bigger so hi Tammy, how are you?
I'm good. How about you, Julie?
I'm good. Do we need to say anything else? Like where they can?
Well, you guys probably all know where to find us. Like Julie said, Biz Psychic, maybe for Julie, the Biz Psychic, and Tammy's Intuitive Services. And yeah, we offer channel sessions and or readings. And then for myself, you can find me Tammy's Intuitive. Hi, am I going to get a kitty on my lap? This is a rare moment.
What a shock.
I know.
I'm so glad.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if he's going to be able to be in the frame here or not.
Oh,
This is Jake.
Oh,
Usually I have the door closed, but
I see a little bit of his head.
there's his little face. It's a Jakey. Can you look up?
There he is, Jake.
He's like, what are you doing with me, Mom? Anyway, okay, so
They want what they want when they want it.
exactly.
Period.
So yeah, anyway, Tammy's Intuitive Services for social media and for Facebook, Instagram. And then I have another YouTube channel for channeled messages, Tammy's Channel Chats. So that's how you can find me. And Julie, did you need to say more on your part there?
No. I was just wondering, is there anything that came up in Tammy's channel chats that you would like to impart here today? Because I haven't heard it. I'm actually going on a Facebook log out as of the 10th, which is tomorrow.
Oh,
And it lasts from the 10th, 11th, 12th. I think that's the 10th through. Oh,
and what is that? Is that like is that just like a
It's
movement kind of thing, or trying to make a? Yeah.
It's a protest to Facebook that
protest.
they need to get their act together. And
Oh,
yeah, so I will be, so this is good to know. I will be out as, I think it's from the 10th to the 13th, maybe it's the 11th. I'd have to look on my Facebook page.
okay.
But I encourage everyone to do it because anyway. So you were saying Tammy's
Oh no, just nothing to really bring here because I'd have to. It comes and goes. I have it in my. I don't have the info right here, but if you're just interested in some more channel messages, then you can check that out. Along with Julie and I's channel messages. So, did you have something you want to start with, then, Julie?
Well, I'm not really sure. So last week was an interesting week. I had a new teacher emerge during our channeled session. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't put a lot of time and energy into cultivating that new relationship yet. But I opened and asked for that connection this morning. And I have to tell you, I did do it the other night too. And sometimes it's just quiet in my records. It's just very quiet. And Bella's here too, who kind of looks like Jake.
I know.
But
cat on our lap morning session.
And so this morning when I opened up and I asked for my connection, well, when I started to open up, and I was doing that connection a little bit before I do it before we log on. I feel like I have, the feeling is, I feel like I'm connected to the wisdom of the world. It's really
Nice.
weird. And not to say that that's going to come down and synthesize into something usable yet. Maybe we'll see what it comes out to here. I don't really know. They're saying to me, it will emerge. Ooh, cat fight back there. Yeah. Which always instigated by Felix, always. So Felix. So that's what emerged for me this morning. And
Oh,
here's what I'll say. You too can connect to deeper wisdom, certainly through your own connection to source and your higher self.
yeah. Lovely. Lovely. I'm just gonna, I don't really have a specific today, so I'm just going to kind of open up anything that my guides want to share with everybody at this time.
Peace and love.
Yeah, sorry for the quietness here, guides. I'm just
Yeah.
kind of tuning in here for a moment. We don't want you to worry about what comes next. We want you to worry about what comes now. They did just channel a message about this recently, because now is where you're meant to be. We understand there's significance in going backward and reminiscing and going over things and thinking about things, although the present is where you create. And going to your future, what about that? They say, what about, isn't it right to go and visualize for the future and think ahead? Yes, to some degree. Although again, that future will be created by the moment of now. So just a reminder for us to stay present, to stay grounded, that your best outcomes in the future are being created at this very moment. Where your thoughts are, where you're placing your thoughts. That's going out there. Now, many of you, I'm going to interrupt a minute, many of you will know this, people that are spiritual minded, you know. But I do find, I will just say that I do find that for me, my guides have been talking about that a lot lately, of really just staying, you know, in the present and staying focused now to create a better future for ourselves. So there's much to be done, much to do right here and now. You know, they often talk about writing down goals and just writing down, well, yeah, I would say affirmations and things like that. Certainly speaking the words, affirmations, these are all things you can do in the present that helps to create your future. So let's not put so much worry and stress or saying in your future, which is where many of you go. You can only, has been said, you can only create from right now. Again, you can only be present at this very moment. This is where you are. And so think of all the anxiety you can release and stress you can release when you really sort of adopt that idea and start really living in the moment, as they say, and being present right now. Phew, it's like they just show me a weight is lifted off of you simply by recognizing that and putting your energy into that. So that's what they want to share.
Perfect. Beautiful. It doesn't get any simpler than that.
Yeah.
And if yeah, we cannot add anything to improve upon that. It's just so beautiful and so right and real. I think the only thing we would add is the practice of being in the here and now, which is the big challenge for most people, right?
Yeah.
And I know I've shared this in Higher Healing before. I don't know if I shared it here. And there's lots of ways to do that, you know, to be grounded, to be in the present. But one of the ones I like the best, so if I've said it and this will be a repeat, and if I haven't, it's just going to be a quick little tool for you. For all I know, I did it last week. I don't remember.
I know, me too sometimes.
It was a little out there. Is to become really conscious and aware through your senses. And that is to do things, it's just observing them. It's not ever judging them. this is such a valuable, purposeful, amazing tool that I will repeat it over and over again because it's life changing. It can be life changing, and it's so simple, and it takes like 10 seconds. 10 seconds to do, and it looks like this. So I'm going to show it to you as I would do it in my head. I see the monitor on my desk. I hear the air purifier. I feel the cat on my lap. I have the lingering taste of coffee in my mouth. I feel the chair beneath my bottom.
Love that.
And that, so when you bring in your senses and you simply observe what it is that is happening with them, you are immediately in the present. You cannot be in the past, you cannot be in the future, and there is no judgment, so it's all perfect. And it literally, that was probably maybe 15 seconds because I drew it out a little bit, but you can do it in 10 seconds and nobody will ever know you're doing it.
Mhm. I love that, Julie. That's a great tool and a great practice. It reminds me too, it's like you get to kind of, I don't know, it reminds me of like pretend again. It goes into that child and like energy. For me, it does when you say that, it's like, oh, that's kind of fun. Let me notice what I'm seeing and all those things. So that's a great practice and really good one. Yeah. For grounding and being
And
present.
it's definitely good. So I had an interesting day yesterday. I'll share this briefly because it is good for anxiety. It's good for everything. And when you're in the middle of having some anxiety, it's probably not going to be your immediate go-to. It wasn't mine. And I am not somebody who's prone to anxiety, but I started on a new medication to help reduce my overall pain and arthritis pain and back pain. It's without having, hopefully to minimize opioids. Okay. And so, and I read all the side effects and it's nothing serious, but I started taking this on Saturday. And by yesterday, I was sitting down in the living room. I don't know what I was doing, to be honest with you. I was just sitting there, probably looking at something on my phone. And all of a sudden I felt this wave come over me and it hit my stomach. And it felt almost the same internal feeling as when I had my heart attack. I'm like, what's going on? And all I remember saying was, this isn't right. This doesn't feel right, which is exactly what happened when I had my heart attack. Now, the difference between when I had my heart attack, which women should know about, I had burning from here to here and here to here and across the back and burning.
Interesting.
Kept getting worse. And really no other, and gastrointestinal stuff, right? Which is what I had yesterday, gastrointestinal feelings. And I'm like, what's happening here? And then I had like this heat wave come over me, different than a hot flash. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to take any chances. So I call up my friend down the street and I'm like, I'm going to call 911, but if you don't mind coming down. I'm like, hi, what you doing? Not a big deal, but if you're not busy, do you mind coming down? And so, so she came down and I called 911 and long story short, they, did the EKG and they're like, you're fine. I'm like, I mean, you're not having a heart attack. And I'm like, yeah, I think it might be the response to the medication that I'm taking. And so all I'm saying is that when you're in the throes of, and plus which I was having a little bit of anxiety, kind of post PTSD a little bit, right? It might be not your first go-to to bring in the sensory observations, but breathing is. And I would highly encourage you to have some kind of practice of breathing if you start with that. It needs to be a regular practice. So whatever you do to ground, to however you deal with your anxiety, if you have anxiety or worry or fear, those are all euphemisms for fear. Anxiety is just a form of fear, right? Sorry, my nose seems to be running. Is
Probably,
to
yeah.
is to be just present, because when you're present, all that other stuff disappears. Okay. So
It really does. It's amazing when I mean, what some of those practices, like we're saying like that, when you kind of really just center on being just back here and saying, okay, I can't control what the future is right now. I can only, help myself with my present. I mean, I know that when I've done that, it is honestly, it's like this release,
yeah, it's huge.
something so simple, right? So I like those sensory,
Observation.
exercises kind of thing is a
The
good way to
bottom,
pull back.
I mean, the bottom line, like, if you, I don't know, you can't see my cat, but you've got your guy in your lap and you're petting him, and I've got Bella in my lap and I'm petting her, and boy, the cats must be sensing something or just whatever.
I know.
But I mean, the most important aspect of all of that right now is to have a consistent habit about that.
Mhm.
Practice it every day, several times a day, even if you never feel like you need it, because it will be a knee-jerk response when you do need it.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, allow yourself to give yourself that time, yeah, like you said, if you're in the middle of a panic attack or some anxiety is really creeping on, it's a form of self-love to take those few minutes to really, either the breathing, or whatever it is to just ground. I mean, and pet an animal if you have one. Because
for sure.
even as I'm doing this, I'm like, okay.
Exactly, right? It releases, doesn't it release something?
I forget what they
Serotonin
say,
or
but
something?
yeah, it does something legit. And our animal friends get to benefit. He's had his loving now. He's hopping down. Thank you, Jake.
We'd like to focus a little bit more on self-love.
Mhm.
We think that it's so. I'm going to say from my own personal experience, I didn't ever really think about whether I loved myself or didn't love myself as I was growing up, or it just wasn't something that I thought about. And then as
Yeah.
I got older um, and worked through a lot of stuff, I realized that love wasn't just for other people,
Mhm.
and that I learned how to fall in love with myself. And it was an evolution, and that my late partner taught me a lot about. And so we'd like to say, if it's not something that you've thought about in the past or think about now, to start thinking about it, because self love is the driver for everything you do, right?
Mhm.
It's not just love for other people. That's wonderful. It seems easy to do that with others. And often the most elusive is that self love and compassion. And so we'd like to give you a little exercise, maybe, and to think about, what would it feel like? What would it look like? What would it sound like? How would it be expressed in your life? Self love. How would self love manifest and express in your life? What would you say to yourself? What would you hear? How would you feel? How would you respond in those times where you're pushed and you start doubting yourself? Doubt's okay, and then you get to come back and love yourself through it, right? You hear these things, and I wonder what happens for you if you can really do that, or you can't do it. And so I really would invite you, and this is all from my guides coming. love really does make the world go round. It's such a cliche, but it does. And self-love is number one. So we invite you and encourage you to explore that. Take a few minutes to just explore those questions and write something about them.
Mhm.
It's one thing to have them in your head. It's another thing then to put them down somewhere, whether you do it with pen in hand or on the computer, as long as it's not just kept in here, it's communicated to somewhere else.
Mhm.
What would you and your guides like to
I
add?
love that, Julie. That's really great. And I think I loved how to see how, like what you were talking about, like to take time to see what that might look like for you. I think that's super key because when you can, when you can envision what does a healthy love look like for you? What does it look like to you? Um, Examples, it could be, well, that I'm really, not putting myself down anymore, or maybe it has to do with a partnership or something like that. But the things that you see and allow yourself to see are the things that you're being shown for you to work on, perhaps. So when you're allowing yourself to see ideally what that would look like, that's not coincidental what you're going to get. You're being shown a reflection of something that you can work on a little bit more. Some people come into a lifetime some people come into a lifetime knowing about who they are, what they are, meaning source, they are source, and they come from source, and it's pretty easy for them. Then others come into a lifetime where it's a journey. It's a journey of getting back to what's already there and has been there, and been sidetracked a little bit with maybe other lessons perhaps one had to learn through dysfunctional families, perhaps, conditioning that wasn't so positive. That's not all for nothing either. Those lessons are there valuable to have the experience on your own, journey and personal growth path. But the love, as we know, is always there. And so a journey can be a bit of a struggle with self-love for some people because it is about finding that, coming back to what is real. And that is really the first step, isn't it? It's just claiming that you are already love and you were already born deserving of it,
Mm.
and so you're finding that way to that place again where you can embrace that and, remind yourself of that every day. If it's a struggle for you, remind yourself that you're no different than anybody else. Those other people that seem to have everything, all the love they could imagine. You are already that. You just got a little sidetracked with some other things. So let's remind yourself through affirmations, through mirror talk in front of the mirror, reminding yourself of all those fantastic things you are. Um, I think you know what to do innately like that. So I like what you had to say about that, Julie, because it just reminded me of that, putting that attention on that.
So powerful, Tammy. Thanks for adding that. And it's funny, one thing leads to another, right? And as you were sharing that bit, also was reminded of, what are your expectations of you? What are your expectations of others? Do you expect more from you, more from, and how are you clear about what those expectations are? I talk about it a lot in my boundaries book. Expectations are, oh boy, are they the downfall to so many things. And definitely, if you have unrealistic expectations of yourself, about healing, about understanding, about love, it, it yeah, it's worth exploring, to be sure.
Mhm.
So explore. I guess that's the thing today. Explore. Ooh.
Yeah, maybe, right?
So the name of my new teacher is Alarie, and Alarie says, the theme. What did Alarie just say? Something about the theme is exploration. We are exploring today. So,
Love that.
Alarie.
Yeah. We're deserving of that exploration. That's lovely.
All right. So
Yeah.
are we going to do anything else, or are we good?
I think that we're good. Maybe we can just take 3 just cleansing breaths. And I make this very simple. This is certainly not something that you've never heard of doing before, but let's just make it very simple. To take a moment to just close your eyes. And we're going to be thinking about 3 cleansing breaths. On the in breath, before we begin, on the in breath, it will be about breathing in divine healing light, source light. On the exhale, will be about anything you want to release, negativity, fear, anxiety, etc., etc. Okay? So let's start by just taking one nice big inhale. And you're breathing in that divine healing, godlike energy that you know exists and is part of you. Hold it maybe for 3 seconds if you can. And then you're exhaling and releasing any negativity, any fear, any doubt, any anxiety on the out breath. And noticing how
Any
good that was.
unrealistic expectations, let those go too.
Yes, yes. And then let's go with your second now. Let's inhale again. Divine healing light from source, all that is good, self-love. Coming in, exhaling again, any of that leftover fear, doubt, anxiety, conditioning that is false, anything that's negative. Noticing you're feeling better and better, more in control, more grounded. Let's do one last cleansing breath. Inhaling divine healing, God source like and love, acceptance of who you are. Holding that. And then exhaling any left residue of negativity, fear, doubt, anxiety, worry, anything that is not serving you. And just take a moment now to just claim that new energy that you've set for yourself. When you're ready, just open your eyes.
Thank you. That was
Making
lovely.
that sort of a little bit quick. Yeah, but just something to practice maybe every day. You know, it's an easy one.
Oh, that was so lovely. Thank you so much. And a wonderful way to close our session today.
Good.
And so we always want to thank you for joining us. Thank you, Tammy, for that beautiful moment of bliss. That's all I'm going to say.
For all your wonderful info too, Julie, as usual. We're grateful for our guides and all that are helping us with these messages. Sure.
And please remember to send us any questions that you have. If maybe this triggered anything for you about doubting yourself, or how you achieve self-love, or that whole pathway, write us a question about it.
Sure.
And then please, if you would, go ahead and share this. We'll go ahead and get that posted today, as we almost always do, I think. And until next time, we are Tammy and Julie, 2 psychic moms, sending you our deepest and heartfelt love. Boy, do I feel good.
It's great to share the love, right? Feels good. Yay.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
I guess
Thank you, everybody.